Let's go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Odine HotShots. Please help me welcome my guest, Aydin Pirinccioglu, CTO of Odine Solutions. Aydin, welcome to the hot seat.
Hi, Isabel. Great to be here.
So, Aydin, we recently published a market insight discussing the evolution of virtualization with you in cooperation with Odine Solutions. And in that market insight, we were discussing the evolution of virtualization and the potential impact it may have on the voice business going forward. Well, what is your view about the evolution of virtualization?
Sure. Virtualization has rapidly evolved in the 20 or so years since it was mainstreamed. It's now the de facto deployment model for enterprises and is what powers the public clouds of hyperscalers like AWS, Azure, and Google. Though enterprises were the first to adopt virtualization for their private clouds, we've seen a significant migration trend to public clouds, which was further accelerated in the last year. And what I consider the latest phase of the evolution is the migration from virtual machines to containers. Whereas virtualization virtualizes the underlying hardware, containerization virtualizes the operating system. And when compared to VMs, these containers consume fewer resources, are portable, are easier to orchestrate, and are the vessel of choice for cloud-native applications, often running as a collection of microservices in containers. So while all of this transformation was happening on the enterprise and hyperscaler fronts, telecoms were relatively late adopters of this technology, and they had their valid reasons for this. They had to be sure that the technology was mature, robust, and stable, and could deliver the user plane throughput that they required.
Okay, so you mentioned telecom operators, you mentioned enterprises to start with. So how, what does it mean for telecom operators going forward, virtualization? How is that going to evolve for them?
So a majority of the telcos have opted to deploy their own private telco clouds and are primarily using OpenStack for virtualization, which they're now augmenting with Kubernetes or OpenShift for containerization. Over the last year or so, we're also seeing some telcos that have chosen to partner with the hyperscalers and are migrating some of their workloads to public and now edge clouds operated by the hyperscalers. Now, having said this, I still believe that not all types of workloads are suitable for public clouds and recommend that telcos do their due diligence if they choose to go down that route, especially around traditional telco 5 nines availability, cloud lock-in, performance, and security.
So, Aydin, you've mentioned, enterprises, telecom operators. Now, a lot of people looking at our interview today will be people working in the international wholesale voice business. How this virtualization evolution may impact their business going forward?
Sure. Let me answer this question by using the Swiss Army knife of wholesale voice domain, the session border controller, aka the SBC, as an example. Whereas in the past, you needed specialized and costly appliances or large chassis to run wholesale peering SBCs, virtualization stacks running on commodity servers have matured to the point where we're now deploying high-performance virtualized SBCs from multiple partners in our customers' clouds and or as managed SBCs in our own clouds. And this is also true for other voice elements such as soft switches and STPs. And in this virtualized world, what happens when you need to scale up simultaneous session or CPS capacity? Well, you can either spin up additional VSBCs on the same commodity hardware, or you can virtually increase the resources allocated to the SBC and scale up that way. What if you need to deploy an enterprise access SBC in a region you don't have data center in? Well, deploy them on public clouds. And you get to do all of this with the flexibility of having all these SBCs share licenses from a global pool when needed, as needed. So to summarize, virtualization brings agility, flexibility, scalability, and maybe most importantly, large OpEx and CapEx savings to the wholesale voice business. And this is especially important as it's ready to go now, at a time where we're seeing a lot of carriers with end of life or end of service kit that they need to rapidly replace.
So, you've convinced me. If I was watching this interview as a voice wholesaler, I would think, okay, I need to look into this. It gives me scalability, agility, efficiency. It helps me reduce my costs. So, okay, I'm convinced. What is the first thing I should do to get the ball rolling?
They should look for a partner that has the network transformation experience to understand their requirements and the ability to deliver, such as Odine Solutions, of course.
Of course. Okay, well, Aydin, this was super interesting. Thank you so much for being one of my victims on the hot seat.
It was my pleasure, Isabel. Thanks for having me on.
Everyone, thank you for watching, and until the next Odine HotShot.